everybody. If you can hear me, show me some reaction. Amazing. Thank you, Silas. I see you. Thank you, Delay. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Steve, Julian, Sonny, Derek. I see you all. Lovely, lovely people. Love to see you all. So we are super excited for New Week and to have everybody join us. Again, if you are coming back, welcome back. And if you are new here, welcome to Team One Kenya. This is our mini hack, Road to Mini Hack, the payments cohort. So yeah, you are in for a good ride. All right. So if you are, of course, as you're getting started, I will just quickly present my screen so that we could all just, get to fill in the process. Tonight is a very exciting night, and I'm so excited about tonight, by the way. And yeah, just to have everybody joining in from different countries. Yes, and so before we begin, I will love for us to, first of all, I will just record. Hey guys, so sorry about that. We just had a few technical hitches, but nothing to worry about because today we are trying a new thing, a new location. So yeah, but it's okay. Yeah, so welcome again to everybody joining us for this cohort. We will kick off from where we actually left. So quickly, I will share my screen. Confirm you can see my screen okay. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Wilfred. Thank you, Silas. Thank you, Jeff. Amazing. All right. As always, we will start with our, setting the mood for the night. Yes, so before we begin, if you can turn on your camera, that would be great so that you could be able to see you and put a name to a face. And if you're not speaking, of course, please just get muted so that you do not interrupt the session. And quickly, we will just, drop our names in the chat, where you're joining from. We'd love to see that. Yes, ask any questions freely. Of course, there's no dumb question during these sessions, and we encourage you to be present. So in case you have too many tabs, close some tabs because you might not need them for these next 1.5 hours. And yeah, let's build our powerhouse together. And if your friend is not on the call, you could freely just invite them, tell them that you are actually on, and so they should actually be joining us as soon as they can. All right. So these are our declarations for tonight. So say it with us. Everybody, if you can unmute and just say it at your own pace. And when everybody is done, we want to say it like we mean it, and we will now continue with the session. Okay? So yeah, I will start. I am a builder. I belong in this space. I bring my full focus, curiosity, and courage today. I am not too late. I'm exactly on time.
My voice matters here.
Ask questions boldly.
I am learning
My
Web3
voice
and
matters
teaching.
here. I am learning Web3.
As to DevRel solutions, I am part of a community that lifts each other up. Today I take one step closer to my vision.
Today I take one step closer to my vision. Okay. Amazing, amazing. If you're done, just give me some reactions. Awesome. Great. So quickly, as we're getting started, we would love to know where you are at currently on your Web3 journey. So remember, we started from point A, and by this session, we hope that you are somewhere around point C. Yeah, so that you could just know that there's a sense of progression. So in the chat, give us some, yeah, give us your answer. So where are you on your current Web3 journey? Are you still new? Are you joining us for the first time? We would love to know. And are you also like, frequent Team One builder? We want to know that too. I think some people are still joining the call. Yeah. Where are you on your Web3 journey? I'd love to see your responses. Thank you, Wilfred. I see you are experienced and you have a little knowledge. That's good. That's great. We hope that most of you are actually on this level so that we know who is behind and how can we be able to help. Yeah, we'd love to know that. Amazing. I see you, Moses. I see you, Brian. I see you, Andrew. Love to see it. So we are all moving on progressively together, and it's a good thing to know. All right, so that's good to know. Amazing. We even have like already builders shipping solutions, and that's really awesome. Cool. So again, mini hack, in case you have not registered for the official mini hack, please go ahead and register. Just scan the QR code. It should take you to Luma page where you will get all the information about all the upcoming events that you're organizing. Quite amazing initiatives that you're putting together for you all. So if you've not registered, please scan the QR code and register for the same. All right. Okay, so on tonight's agenda, I will just get dive into it. So we've already done the welcoming, we already know where we are at, and then our formations. So we want to ensure everybody actually completes your quest. So we have week one and week one session one and week two session two session quests that you're supposed to have completed by now. If you've not completed them, please check in the chat. We are dropping the link shortly for the quest so that you may go ahead and complete the quest. Okay? And then tonight we have amazing guest speakers that I want to quickly introduce to before we get hands-on for the session. And we want to have Kara from Grow Age. I think she's on the call, an amazing lady. So let's welcome Kara, guys, so that she can talk to us more about what she's putting together for accelerator programs. Like always, we always tell you that you're creating clear pathways for building from point zero to building to going to market. So you want to know more about how that process goes and how to align yourselves for the greater good that's ahead of you. Okay? So yes, Kara, the floor is yours. Can you hear?
Just a quick snippet about myself and my organization and our Grow Edge Builder Growth Incubator. Okay, so first, for a little background, I'm going to drop in my organization's website here in the chat. And my organization is called C3. So, yeah, that is basically in Spanish saying yes to Web3. That's the C there. I'm also going to drop in my LinkedIn so we can stay connected there. I'm mostly active on LinkedIn. All right, so that's a little bit of background on me. Now I'm going to share my slides here and give you a little bit of an overview of this Grow Edge program. So I have been a startup founder 3 times now, and probably a little bit older than most of you guys here. But you know, there's just a lot that goes into not only building, but growing projects, right? And for many of us, it's our first times doing something, even if it's not if it's your second or your third startup or project like this, it can still be very challenging. And what we've done within this Grow Edge program is basically taking a lot of the learnings, specifically around growth. Okay, so I know most of you are probably really focused and heads down on your product right now, right? Which is great. Of course, you can't, the product is the central aspect of any project. And it's also super helpful to be thinking about the marketing landscape as soon as possible and how you're going to go to market with your product. So this is growth and education together. Now, our organization, we've been a part of, we've received 10 grants now. It's amazing that grants exist in industry. Most other industries don't even offer grants. And been a part of a lot of ecosystems. Our project's been around for 3 years now. And in this process, we've seen quite a few kind of core challenges in the industry, specifically around builders. So as I'm sharing this, thinking into this, that this might be relevant for you, it's industry-wide. There's no pointing fingers. It's just where we're at as an industry. Now, building a startup is hard, but then often the builders may not have a lot of marketing experience, as I mentioned. So therefore, sometimes these blockchains and protocols that are sponsoring or supporting, like Avalanche here, is like giving grants, or doing as much as they can for offering resources on the building side, but then they're maybe not seeing their builders going to the next phase, and they've funded millions of dollars sometimes, and it's like, wow, what's happening after that? So that's why we're seeing ecosystems pulling back a lot on grants, because they're not seeing ROI on their builders. I'm not trying to be a downer here. Having a startup is hard in general, but these are just, things that we're starting to see now as an industry. How can we plan ahead to try to support this problem? So then also small DevRel teams, like Lavender here, for example, DevRel ecosystem teams managing 50, 100, 200 builders. It's like, whoa, that's a lot, right? So it's limited resources. And then also, sometimes the builders are experiencing challenges not being able to see who you all are. I love that Lavender is hosting this type of session, so you can at least kind of start to get to know who the other builders are in the ecosystems you're a part of, right? So this is basically kind of the main pain points that we're working to solve within this Grow Edge incubator. Also, interesting to mention, it's a 6-month program. You might see a lot of quick 6-week accelerators, 1-month sprints, 2 months even. Not a bad thing to have, but realistically, as a 15-year marketer myself and just being, seeing a lot of projects, that's not going to be long enough to make much of an impact long term. And so the goal of this program is to give you all foundational resources and applied learning for you to have 6 months to really set up a solid growth stack for yourself, okay? So here's our team. We do have a lot of representation in Africa. Bratsipa, some of you may know her. She's in Kenya. So this would be sweet to work with a lot of you all there in your region. Okay, so now here's showing you here's what the content is. So as I'm sharing these, to think about this for your own organization and where you're at. I mentioned it's 6 months. There's 24 modules, 1 per week. And here's the core monthly themes. Marketing foundations. These are things like setting up your analytics dashboard. What are your growth KPIs? What's your content marketing? Okay, this is stuff that's applicable for everybody and really whatever stage you're at. You may just be hacking away your prototype right now, right? But wouldn't it be kind of cool to start thinking about, as soon as that prototype is ready, you're going to have to start, you really want to start planning for that soft launch right now, right? Customer development. These are super cool things where you're actually interviewing your potential customers and you're getting insights from them. So you're not just building based on your own intuition. That's an experience, that's helpful, right? But we want to talk to the landscape first. These types of things are usually not done often by founders. I'm sometimes guilty of it too. And we make a lot of assumptions, right? And then we're wondering why our product's not getting picked up, right? Going to market. This is a full month of actually launching marketing campaigns. So this is applied learning where you're doing the real work. Community development. We know in Web3 we're very community focused, right? And when you're an early stage startup, you don't have marketing budget for paid ads and stuff like that. Your community is your advocates. Your community is your customers, right? Media and partnerships. This is also super important where we're at. Startups, partnerships. Hey, you've got 100 users in this target demographic I'm looking to connect with. Hey, can we partner? unpaid, cool, you know. And then finally funding. So this is clearly, you know, important for any project. And this could be funding through investors. This could be funding through your own customer development and really positioning yourself for that next phase. So that's the core modules there. I hope that was good insights. A little bit more background. We're super, as an organization, we're super active in education and ed tech. So we've got our nice stack here for how we all could connect. We're using a tool called ClickUp. Here's where everything would be managed, very organized for everybody to manage their deliverables. So we ask that it be about 5 hours per week extra for each of you that are participating, that you commit to this, okay? So we know you're really busy, but you know, this would weave into your existing tasks there. We'd be meeting bi-weekly. You get a lot of education. Like, here's Arnold, how to go to market from Dune Analytics. These are the types of educators and mentors and speakers we have. So it's cool, lots of access. And then also we facilitate partnerships and networking within our ecosystem and with you all. Like I mentioned, like going to market at an early stage company, partnerships are just super great, and introductions and business development. So getting you all really comfortable in these areas, okay? If Avalanche comes on, we'll have on-chain certifications for you all too. And this is pricing. So this is more for us to be exploring with Avalanche, but just noting, like, we are going to be presenting to Avalanche to sponsor a cohort. And yeah, you know, that's our business model. And seeing how we can get as many of you all in as possible into this, if it's helpful for you. Okay, so that's pretty much my little spiel there. Yeah, feel free to drop in the chat. I don't want to take any more time, but drop in the chat if this looks of interest to you. If Lavender's okay with it, I can share a form that you guys could complete really quickly to express your interest, if that's of interest to you, to come into this program. It's usually about $1,000 program per company. You and your co-founders can join in, and we'd be asking for that sponsorship from Avalanche. Okay? Thanks, everybody.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Kara. And yes, please, you could feel free to share the link for anyone to share interest, to express interest, because this is very, very important if you're building, with the right intentions of going to market instead of just participating in a hackathon from one hackathon to another. You want to build with the intentions of actually going to market. So you want to understand what are the regulations, what do you want, what do you need to do to get to the next level and to get your product to the market. So thank you so much, Kara. That was really, really great and insightful. So we are now getting on to our next agenda for tonight. And for this one, I will quickly welcome Joseph, who is going to onboard us to the where you'll be building from the GitHub organization, take you through the onboarding process quickly, and then we will have Sylus take off their session and just run it basically. I think this will just like take 5 minutes, so just ensure you have your accounts ready, set up.
Okay, hi everyone. Can you confirm that you can hear me? Can you see some reactions? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? If I start. Give me a sec. I'll have it muted on that side. Okay.
It's you who is supposed to unmute.
Okay. Hi, what about now? Am I audible? Nice. Thank you. All right, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Joseph Mwangi. I'm the technical lead for this mini hack in Team 1 Kenya. So basically, this is what I'm going to take you about. So give me about like 5 minutes before we dive into this content. I want to walk you through something that is very, very important, and how basically the entire submission, the project infrastructure works for this entire cohort, because this is what you'll be using each and every single week from now on until the demo day. So everything that I'm about to show you is built and live. So by the time you leave this session tonight, make sure that you've tested it out and you will know exactly what to do. Okay, so first I'm going to take you through the GitHub organization. Let me share my screen very fast. Okay, can you see my screen? I think, yeah. So basically, this is a GitHub organization that we will be onboarding you today. So talent index. So this is a central hub for everything that you are doing, like for all the template repos, all the resources, the contribution guides, everything you'll find it here. So within the next, okay, let me just say 24 hours, but in less than 24 hours, close to 2 hours, maybe. Let me give you guys some time for those who actually just joined. Everyone who submitted their GitHub username when you registered on Luma, you'll receive a GitHub invitation to join this organization. It will come directly to the email email address that's attached to your GitHub. So you'll check your inbox in the spam folder, and mind so the invitation expires after 7 days. So do not sit on it. So once you accept the talent index invitation, you'll be directly added into the cohort one team. Let me just show this to you. So this is where you'll be directly added to. So this cohort is specifically for all builders who are building on the payment track that you're running right now. So basically this will be the home for all your programs. Yeah, can you hear me? Sorry. Okay. So these were all notifications, announcements I'll be pushing through me and the technical team. These are all notifications will be coming from, and these are the submissions will be made as you're going through this week and the next 2 weeks remaining, the tasks that you're going to do. So if you head over to the repository, once you head over to the repository, you're going to get the mini hack template. So once you come to this template, let me just load it for a sec. Yeah. So once you come to this template, this is basically your starting point for the entire cohort. Like, there's no need for you to start from scratch. Do not create a blank repo and then submit it. You can use this template to do your tasks from now on. So this is basically what's inside it. The very first one, the very first thing that it's here, it's the hard hat configuration.
You're breaking. People can't hear you. Reconnect.
Okay. Let me just try reconnecting again. Let me do this. Let me use this. Can you confirm that I'm audible better right now? Tech side better? Nice. Okay. So let me just resume from here. So basically, this is what the template contains. the very first thing is the hard hat configuration at the root, this one. So basically, this is already configured and set up for the Fuji testnet, and when we are running the tests, and when you're running the tests. So this is the hard hat configuration, so there's no need for you to start afresh. There's no need for you to start looking for the RPC URL or the chain ID. All this is already configured in this configuration file. The next thing is a starter contract. So these are very simple smart contract that you can start with, that tells you about, like the very first smart contract that you can actually deploy throughout some of the quests that you'll be doing throughout this week and next week and so much so forth. So, and the other thing is a test script that we call it deploy.json. So basically, these are test file showing you, like it shows you how to write your own test and basically scaffold and also deploy this smart contract that you deployed. And I was talking about the test. Yeah.
People can tell you. You're breaking.
Okay.
Disconnect. Just disconnect.
Give me a sec. Am I audible enough right now? Can someone reactivate if I'm audible enough? Can you hear me? Okay. Let me try rejoining the meeting again. And just give me a sec. Yeah, nice. I guess now I'll be audible. Okay, hi everyone. Can you hear me now? Am I audible enough? Nice. Let me just share my screen again. Okay, let me just start off from the templates again, and what's entitled, what's in this entire template. So at the root of this repository, we have the hard hat configuration. file, the hardhat.config. So basically, what it does, it's a configuration that's already set up for the Fuji testnet. I know you all have testnets ready. You got testnets from the Builders app, right? So this configuration file is already set with the RPC URL, the chain ID, and any of that. So it's done. It's a good configuration file for you to start off with, to start with the status smart contract that you have. And then next is a test file. So this test file, it contains examples showing you how to write your own tests, like your own tests throughout the entire course. And the other thing is the front end folder. So basically right now it has a simple HTML file. So you can scaffold your own front end using React, Vite, whatever you want. If you're used to HTML, CSS, you can scaffold your front end within the same template. Also true to have the .env template. So basically it contains all like a summary of what you'll be needing when you're building on Avalanche, like when you're deploying smart contracts. Example is a private key, the RPC URL, everything, things like that. If you're doing like X Pesa integration, the Raj APIs, things of the sort. So yeah, and a simple smart contract that you can actually deploy for the first test, and also a guide for you to know how these smart contracts they look like, how to build one, and how to follow the same format. Yeah, so basically this is what you'll be needing across it. So what you will do once you have access to this repo, once you have access to this template, you will head over here to fork, and you fork this repo to your personal repository. So let me just show you. You head over and then you fork it. Let me just fork it as template 1. Okay. Since I already have a fork existing, let me just navigate to that fork. So once you have forked these into your repository, you need to navigate now into that repository. So basically, now this is the weekly workflow. What you'll be doing at the start of every week, like Tuesday, depending on the task and the quests that you'll be getting, basically you'll come to this clone the repo, and then you'll be doing your task there. Once you are done with the task, the next process is pretty easy. You will head over. Okay, let me just go to my clone repo. Yes.
You can use mine.
Okay. Give me 1 minute. Okay, give me 1 minute. So it's commuted. Yeah, commuted.
Can you use my laptop instead?
Okay, I use here. So actually I'm actually done hata ina jata ini to change. Let me just malizia tu. let me just wind up. So once you come here, you made your changes, you commit your changes, and you push to that specific week branch. As you can see, mine, I've created this branch and I've called it week 1 test final. So yeah, so once you commit and then you push, then once you do that, you head over to your specific, that forked repository that you have, and then you create a pull request. You create a pull request. Okay, let's give it a second.
Someone has raised their hand. Junior Anthony.
Okay, Junior, I see you raised your hand. What's the issue?
Yes, Mr. Joseph.
Yes.
I have not had you seriously started presenting. I don't know if I'm not right.
Oh, you've not heard me through the entire presentation.
Your voice is breaking.
Okay.
Yes,
People didn't hear anything.
It's already said.
Let's see.
Okay, what about now? Can you hear me right now? Better?
It's okay, just tell them. We will do a tutorial for that, and then we'll share with them.
Okay, I'll do this. I'll compile everything in a simple email and I'll be sharing it to you guys. And also I'll do a screen recording of the entire process tonight and I'll share it with you guys via email. Does that work? That's good? Nice, thank you guys. So one last thing. So if you think maybe you did not submit your GitHub profile or your GitHub username, do you mind sharing it with us in the WhatsApp channel, or I'll share here my mekal.com. Basically, you can send it to me there. And if you have issues, you want technical help, feel free to reach out to me or to the rest of the team. If you've not sent your GitHub username, kindly do so before the end of the day. That's around midnight. I'll be sending those invitations very early in the morning tomorrow. By tomorrow morning or at around, I don't know, 3 a.m. I'm still awake, guys. So yeah, you can, yeah, guess that's it from me. Anyone with a question? Anyone with an inquiry? Okay. If no one has an inquiry or anything, I think I'm going to pass to Lavender, who's going to introduce the next speaker. Friend of mine, Sylus, is going to take us through today's session. Stay locked in, and yeah, have a nice time. GM game.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Joseph, for that overview. So we will actually, we Yes, we are appreciative of your patience with the technical hitches for this tonight's session. But what we will do, we will be able to just record the tutorial quickly and onboard everybody to the GitHub organization so that you all can get onboarded. Now, let me just invite Silas. He's just going to give us like an overview, expectations, what to expect, what to start get preparing for, so that you can now have a proper session in the coming session on Thursday. So we are also gonna have tomorrow's session on like an office hour. So in case tonight's session you've missed a few things here and there, we're gonna share more information on how to get to the office hours shortly after Silas. So Silas, if you're on the call, just confirm if you can hear me and if you're able to unmute and share your screen.
Joseph, hi everyone. Yeah, I'm ready to present. I hope you can hear me, by the way, clearly. Okay, nice. So I'll start by sharing my screen. I think if you've been here before, I think we have met. If you haven't, then nice to meet you. I hope this is your first of many session. So we are lucky today that we're not going to be doing like a practical session because seeing that it's already almost 9, that will have been trouble for us. But the good thing is that the way Lavender and Joseph structured the session is that today was just about introducing, because we're talking about the payment stack. Today was just about introducing what payments is, and then on Thursday we're going to build up on that by writing the actual contract of doing the actual DevRel. So for those who don't know me, my name is Sylus. I'm a 3 developer. I've been doing 3 developer for a while now. My first thing to do in software development was actually with 3. So I've had quite a bit of interaction in that area. Not a lot as I want to, but like every day is an opportunity to grow and learn. The thing that I'm currently doing now, I hope Lavender allows me to do this, but like the thing that I'm currently building is called X Pesa, and it's just a way for creators to monetize their content. So you think about YouTube and videos, but now the way X Pesa is positioned is towards the African specific economy, meaning like we have quick off-ramps, faster settlement using Avalanche blockchain, C-chain, and also the fact that we do not hold any of the creators' fund. So I'm still building it. Right now I'm collecting users for a waitlist. So if you're interested in that, you can check the link in the chat. So I'll quickly move on. As I've said, I'll try as much as possible to keep this under 20 minutes because it's not a complicated topic. Because most of you, as I'm aware, you're interacting with a payment system one way or the other, whether it's X Pesa, whether it's a bank, whether you're building something yourself. I think you'll find the chance to interact with the payment stuff before. The difference here is in 3, and the main difference that I would stress on is that it's very minute and it's just on the UI UX side. So we're trying to make Web2 payment feel as convenient as Web2 payments. We're trying to make Web3 payments feel as convenient as Web2 payments, but with less bureaucracy and the fees being lower and the settlement time being fast. And this is where like Avalanche excels. So the thing that when people talk about payments, especially in the startup application or like in hackathon projects, the thing that most people will be thinking contract sending USDC from this wallet to this wallet. That's a good place to start, but most of the time you need to look deep, especially if your application is not or your startup is not only focused on being a remittance application. So the business value that you're offering is not just moving money from one place to another. For example, in the sense of you're building a marketplace of people can pay with crypto. Your focus is not just moving money from the user's wallet to the merchant's wallet. Part of your focus is actually doing it fast, doing it reliable, and in a way that both parties can actually verify and have the least amount of risk. So that is one of the thinking points that you need to approach when you think about the 3 payment stuff, or that's at least to my research and to my knowledge what I've come to discover. So the things that you need to be thinking about, I'll categorize them into 3 parts. So you need to know who's paying, who's being paid, and what token is being used. So all of these things, this first group is actually the application layer, which I will talk about next in the layers of 3 payment stack. And then apart from that, now as you as the developer, you also need to think who is paying for this gas, what happens when a transaction fails, how do I know that the merchant or the receiver can confirm that this payment has been made, how fast the payment has been made, and also how does the person who was paid get a receipt? Because when you're operating with the 3, the main objective, or one of the main objectives of 3 is like borderless interaction and transactions. So a consumer might be based in like US or like Spain, and they're buying like, let's say, a Masai Shuka from a Kenyan in Masai County. So like they need to be able to confirm that the payment went through. So like they may not be in the same area geographically. So you need a way to communicate that the payment has been done, and both of them can receive the necessary validation. And the last thing is that now this is the part where you introduce your business model, or where you slide in business model. So how do businesses reconcile payments? What compliance or identity checks are needed, depending on your application? And again, I'll briefly talk about this going forward. And also, how does the app feel simple enough for normal users? So when you're building an application, most of the time, especially like for the startup and hackathon projects, you're not targeting, most of the application, especially the payment application, you're not specifically targeting Web3 native people, or people who know Web3, because that's a smaller market. And the larger market needs payment systems. So we need to think about people who know about crypto and people who do not know about crypto. So making it easier for both sides. So this is the stack that I was talking about. So the Avalanche payment stack has, according to my categorization, again, is nothing official documented in here, but like for me, and the way I view it is within 6 layers. So the way Safaricom or M-Pesa does payments, for example, from my M-Pesa app to the shopkeeper's till number, it might seem like it's only 2 steps or even 1 step, but behind closed doors, there are actually a number of processes that are happening. This is nothing different from Web3, only that in Web3 things are cheaper. The UI gets a little bit complicated if you, the developer, is not careful, and also like the speed is a bit faster. Yeah, and also I've mentioned about the fees. So you have the application layer, the abstraction layer, the transaction orchestration layer, the settlement, the compliance, and the merchant integration. So we begin with the app layer. So the app layer is just, for example, when you're visiting a page, and then you see a button like connects to pay, or you see a QR code that says scan this to pay. So this is the main page that the users interact with the payment system. So whatever payment system you have, this is the main page that the users are interacting with it. And again, for all purposes payments, you need to make it as simple as possible, because if I'm going to give you my money and you're already making it hard for me to give you my money, I'm probably not going to give you that money. So you need to make it as simple as connect to pay, or pay now, or scan to pay. So as smooth as possible, smoother than what the M-Pesa guys are doing, because for you have a challenge of like trying to convince the user already about using Web3. So like you do not have that leeway to add complexity to your app layer, or the user-facing UI that, or the user UI that is that triggers the payment flow. So we have the abstraction layer, and abstraction is something that came about recently. So before, for you to interact with crypto, you had to first know about seed phrases and private key, and maybe you had to get banned twice, once or twice, losing them, or like getting them leaked and your files get lost, so that you understand how important to keep them is, and especially something that you want to keep forever, but you don't want others to know. Like, it's very difficult. I'm assuming you get the analogy. And also, you needed to have gas fees to pay your transaction, because those people validating your transaction, if you remember in the first session, we talked about blockchain being a decentralized network. People are being paid to process your transaction. So it's not like Safaricom can take on the burden of processing a transaction and then add it to the transaction fee. This is different, because we have multiple validators who are competing to add your transaction to the block in a simple way, the way you can think about it. So they need incentives. So you need the native token of the the chain to pay for the gas you use. And also, number 3, you need to be aware of how this co-wallet, MetaMask, how they work, so that when you see a message to sign, you know whether you're signing something malicious or you're signing something great. But of late, we have something called account abstraction. So account abstraction gives you, the developer, the power to move a lot of complexity by making the accounts of the pair smart. So like if I come to pay to your site, for example, in my X Pesa application, when you do not need to have an account, you do not need to have a wallet, you do not need to have anything. You only need the currency to pay for the content that you're going to buy from the creator. So you just come to the site with your Gmail or your phone number, and then with that, to create for you a smart account that is linked to that Gmail. But because Google already provides a lot of security for a Gmail account, we do not need to rewire that security for our application. We can leverage that application using passkeys and the security that Gmail already uses. So that is the first part about abstraction. The second thing, the good thing about smart account is that they also sponsor gas. So if I'm coming to pay, let's say 12 USDC for a creator's content, let's say a piece of document, and I also need to have AVAX to pay for the gas. So I need to have 2 tokens, which is a problem because getting USDCs might be easier for me than getting AVAX, because to hold AVAX is a fluctuating token. So it means that someday I might be using, and on some lucky days I might be winning. But for people who do not want to hedge against that, they might not be holding AVAX, so they prefer holding stablecoins. So you need also to think about the gas. But now with the abstraction layer, the gas is paid. So you have the complexity of passkeys, seed phrases, and gas being taken away from it. So you only remain with a simple application that resembles have any flags attached to it. It has also to verify that the amount you're trying to send is the correct one that you have, and also it has to verify that the person you are sending to the money is a valid account, and then also that account has not been flagged. So we have all these pieces of orchestration. Remember, it's not a one-step thing; it's a multi-step. So that is where the logic will happen in this layer, the transaction orchestration. So checking everything. Luckily for us, in Web3, when you're using libraries such as Ethers or Third, most of this is handled for you. Same as settlement. The settlement happened on C chain, and that now is Avalanche. So is there a question? Can you guys hear me? Yes, Devon. Do you have a question, Devon? Okay, I think that was a mistake. Let me proceed. So that is the transaction layer. The settlement layer also is handled by Avalanche. So they are the ones responsible for settling the whatever tokens that you're using for payment. So you also don't need to worry about this.
Okay.
Compliance.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
As you are lecturing, most of the things that you are lecturing about, can we access them via notes? Because I'm seeing like there are also notes. Can we like access them later via notes? We go through them detail by detail, or it's something that we have to just write or go through it?
Yeah, no problem. Sure, that's something I can share. I can share the notes. I have written my notes here, so I have my notes, but I will make sure that I share the notes as well, so that you guys can interact with them. I'll, with permission of Joseph and Lavender, obviously, I'll also be able to share the slides. But the notes, I think, is something that you can work on. Stay posted on the group. I might sign them maybe tomorrow or on Thursday. Okay, nice. So let me proceed. Talked about settlement compliance. Kindly, when you have a question, let's raise hand. Okay, yeah. With the raise hands. Compliance is something important when you're going to market, especially when you're working with finance that is related to a specific sovereign country with its own rules about how financial markets should work. And some of the countries are actually starting to recognize cryptocurrency as a financial instrument that can be used. So you also need to position yourself within the compliance metric that is required. For example, if you are a payment application, a remittance application, you cannot just be allowing people to come to your application, onboard their Kenyan shillings to USDC, then send that USDC to whatever blockchain account that you do not know who it belongs to, because some of that activity might actually be either money laundering or like using that money for terrorism. And when the government comes for you and you do not have those records, it's you who is going to be in trouble. So this is not something necessarily to think about in this hackathon, but it's something when you're building a product and you're starting to go into market to think about it, is something that you need to really think about. And nowadays KYC is a bit easier because you have all of these providers, your SamSub, your Smile ID, and also you can also just roll your own small KYC method as long as you're storing it well. It's just like during registration, for example, me in X Pesa, I'm asking for somebody's email and phone number. That is not too private, but if they want to find that person, I think we already know that they can find you with your mobile number. So X Pesa will not be liable for your action, and also setting up terms for your application. It's really important. Even when you're building right now, it's just a good experiment to go onto cloud or ChatGPT and just think about the terms of your application, terms of use, terms of agreement, cookie policy, and all of that stuff. But not necessarily important for this session, but like something to think about. Same with merchant integration. If you're building a payment app for that serves businesses to customers or businesses to businesses, then you need to have a platform for them to manage that interaction with the other businesses or with other clients. So this can be in the form of APIs, webhooks, dashboards, and all the and everything in between. So it's not really important if you're not building that kind of application, because for one thing, I think that those kind of applications are already too many. So I think like you need to be looking in other directions where the market is underserved. But if you do, that is also an area that a layer that you also need to be looking at. So the example that I give here in this slide is that when you're using the card to pay or to make purchases, maybe you are checking out, like for me as the person who's paying, I don't want to think about whether the account of the person or the merchant is verified, is flagged, the type of bank they're using, fraud checks that has been done on them, the network, the settlement. I don't want to think about that. I just want to make payment and have it being confirmed immediately or like in a few seconds in the case of like, bank payments. Those who have been here, I think you have seen this slide before. This is just basically the Avalanche network architecture, and it's important for the payment cost because the contract that we're going to be writing from Thursday are going to be living primarily on C-chain. So we're going to be writing an ERC20 payment contract on Thursday, I believe. And so this was just to show you that the main chain that we're going to be interacting with is going to be the C-chain, not necessarily like this other chain, even though we had talked about them prior. I think the second last thing I'm going to talk about is why is Avalanche strong for payments. And the first thing is finality. For those who are here, you remember we talked about finality and throughput as being the main measurements of blockchain performance. So finality is just basically how fast can a transaction be confirmed to be legal or to be stamped onto the blockchain that it cannot be reversed, because all transactions on the blockchain are immutable. So finality just means like, for example, in M-Pesa, the word finality would mean if I pay you as in your TIN number, and then you receive the message that you have received this amount from Sylus, your M-Pesa balance is now plus 100 shillings. Now that is the finality of M-Pesa. This transaction has been confirmed and the money has landed in your account. And especially in payment application, like speed is very important. You want to be able to confirm faster. For example, if you're paying a fare on a bus, let's say like you are alighting in the next 3 seconds, if you have a finality of 7 seconds, that means that the conductor is going to be very furious at you, because you'll be saying on your end you have paid, and yes, indeed you have paid, but the transaction is taking way too long to be processed. So speed is very important when you're making payments. The next thing is fees. So as you might be aware, fees are something that are very... Sorry, is there a question? So fees are some of the things that are very scary when it comes to like making payments, because you can find yourself making payments. Okay, I'm not saying Safaricom or anything, but for example, if you're buying something of 1,000 bob and then you're being deducted 70, you're going to feel that a lot. Not that is the case, but that is just an analogy. So fees in Avalanche were actually reduced. The lowest fees was 25 AVAX tokens, and it was reduced to 1 AVAX token. That means I can actually send you 0.5 US dollars, and the transaction cost will be 1 or even less of AVAX token. And if you have checked AVAX token, 1 AVAX token, I think is, let me just confirm that, because the price is always is sorry. Let me just check. AVAX blockchain token. Current price, I think it's saying around $6 or $7. But like the minimum transaction fees you can pay was moved lower. So it's, for example, when Safaricom said 100 when you're sending me 100 shillings, you're not charging you anything. So like that's almost not a mirror situation of what is happening in AVAX, but like almost similar. When you start to send a lot of money, you'll realize that blockchain transactions are actually way much cheaper than their two counterparts. Because, for example, if you're sending about 1,500 Kenyan shillings, you're being deducted 23 to 29 bob, which is a lot. When you stack up, for example, you're doing frequent payments. Maybe you're a business to business or business to customer, you're constantly paying out 1,500, and in each transaction you're losing 20 bob. That's bad. That's not good. The other thing that why Avalanche is good for payment is actually EVM compatibility. So for those of us who have written Solidity, and I think this also something on that, but I think probably I'll be using Foundry. But if you have written any Solidity, be sure that your code will work on EVM. If you haven't, then that means that the thing that you're learning to program on Base, Ethereum, Bitram, Polygon can also work on Avalanche, because Avalanche is actually compatible with EVM. The C-chain RPC is not something really to focus on now. I think I'll talk about it much better on Thursday. But this is just like the communication layer of Avalanche is pretty strong compared to other blockchain. One because of the throughput we talked about, and also the finality. So things are a bit fast and performant and efficient on AVAX compared to other blockchains. So I think I'll talk about this RPC much better when we begin the coding. And finally, stablecoins. So if you're building a payment application and you maybe are dealing with items or goods that you want merchants to have a value on, the best thing to do is you do not actually place like volatile assets are not a good measure of value, because if I bought let's say I bought a car yesterday for $1 Bitcoin, and then today Bitcoin value plummeted to $62,000. That means now that the value of my car has dropped. Either I was overcharged or like I was conned, because the price keeps moving. But if you price your assets on stablecoins, which are like fiat pegged assets or cryptocurrency, that is one of the important things that merchants and buyers actually look for in a payment system. Stablecoins are very good on Avalanche. We have USDT, and I think we also have DAI and some other stablecoins, which I think I'll also talk about later in this slide. So stablecoins is also another reason that Avalanche is very strong for payments. Finally, I'll talk about the live cases. So I won't spend a lot of time here. I'll probably leave this for you guys to go and check out. But these are just some of the examples of the payment applications which I used to document these notes and also prepare these slides, and how they've done it. Because most of the time when you're building an application, you're not really building a unicorn. You're not really building something that does not exist. You're building something new, yes, but you're building something that relies upon other built architecture. So when you rely upon, for example, how urban space have done invisible Web3 payments, you can borrow that from urban space. Let's say you borrow abstraction and the payment, the UI, the app layer, and the transaction orchestration layer from Avalanche. You can go ahead and borrow another concept called Avalanche card, and borrow like a concept from Avalanche card, sorry, which enables users to spend crypto like you are using your debit card. So if you have an I&M or like a Standard Chartered card, you know that you can pay for it Spotify subscription, you can pay for it Apple Music, Netflix, and all that kind of things. So Avalanche card is a similar approach, but now you're using cryptocurrency. So the fast nature of cryptocurrency and the cheap nature of the transaction is actually good for you. And also, if you have USDC stablecoins, you don't have to pay with the Kenyan shilling coin fiat, because sometimes Safaricom use an exchange rate of 134, and when you're using the global pay, and when you're paying things in the order of like, let's say $60, $99, that transaction fees is actually like theft. Yeah, to say the least, that is theft, because the forex exchange rate of the Kenyan to the dollar is usually 139. But now when you're using something like Avalanche card, you're paying in stablecoins. Stablecoins are back to 1-to-1 with the US dollar. So if it's $60, it's $60. No more funky forex exchange. And the other one is up top. So when I share this slide, maybe you guys will have a look at this and see how these guys have done their payment architecture. You might not necessarily borrow everything from them, because the payment nature of each application is unique. The user you're serving is unique. Yeah. Actually, I don't know if it's Visa or MasterCard. I did not get to check. But there are those who I know who are using the same concept, but with MasterCard. I think the wallet is called Ready or something. You can also have a look at them. But MasterCard, I think, is the most common one, I guess. But I'm not sure about Avalanche card. I think you can check on that. So yeah, the other thing that gives a lot of credibility by there to Avalanche is that a state in the United States, I think I don't know if Wyoming is the state or it's the city, I'm not sure. I've never been to states, but actually it legalized the use of a stablecoin that is on Avalanche, because of its value that I just mentioned above, finality, low transaction fees, EVM compatibility, and all of those things. So actually a state in the United States is using a stablecoin that is on Avalanche for payments within the state. So this is also something that might interest you to look into and see how they did it, and what if you can do it in the Kenyan ecosystem or better. Some ideas are like, if you can do it for a company like, let's say, KFC, maybe you manage to convince KFC or Chicken Inn or like some of these popular joints that you might be better off using blockchain payments instead of your users paying cash, and then you see how you solve the problem both on the business end and on the buyer's end. So that can be something interesting to do. I would like to conclude there by again reiterating. I think I always do this in every session. The repository of knowledge is actually on Avalanche Academy. So most of us are actually learning from that platform. So I'd urge you to visit that site. So just Google Avalanche Academy. You'll be able to get a lot more information than what I've given today, or what I will give during the duration of this mini hack, or what Joseph and Lavenda will be able to teach you. So visit Avalanche Academy, and also register for the mini hack if you haven't. It's a really good experience. If you're starting out, if you're an experienced developer, I'd really encourage you to do that. And also join the ecosystem using the QR code on the screen. And maybe just for the final time, if you can, and if you're interested, please visit the link in the chat. I think I'll share it again. I have a waitlist running. I have about 7 people who have filled it. Quite low to my expectation, but if you're interested, I'll share the link again. Please visit the site and see if it has value. If it has value, you can join the waitlist. If it doesn't, please share it to someone who you think it might help. Thank you, and Lavend, I think you can take over.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Silas, for that great overview. We have gone a little over time for this session, but I think it's worth it that we had to go to get some overview of what we're expecting for the upcoming session. Now we have our office hours tomorrow at around 4 p.m. and we welcome anybody that has any questions or if you're stuck somewhere and you'd like to get supported, especially when it comes to being onboarded to that GitHub organization and being added to the teams, different teams. It's very important for you to join the office hours. So if you've not joined our Telegram and our WhatsApp, please join them Telegram and WhatsApp right now. So I hope we could have someone help me drop the links to WhatsApp and Telegram. And then yeah, so I've dropped the link to the quest. So we want to encourage everybody to complete week one, quest session one and quest session two, because it's really important as we are progressing to the next session. So we will also drop this week two, session one quests in the course of the night, early tomorrow morning. First thing you wake up, you'll find your quests ready for you to explore. But to encourage you to start first by completing the other previous quests, because it doesn't make any sense to jump on the next quest when you've not gotten the nitty-gritties and you've not even set your environment right. So by completing all these quests, it helps ensure that everybody is progressing. So far we have 13 guys that have submitted, so 13 of you, congratulations. We will be sharing with you the leaderboard shortly, so we just like debugging a few things on the leaderboard. That's why I want to encourage everybody to actually complete, because the data points are not telling. Attendance on Google Meet and submissions are not really telling. So you have to make sure that things are aligning. So tomorrow we will join the session. So let me drop here the link to the WhatsApp group and then Telegram group. If you've not joined, please join in, because we will be making most of the announcements on there as opposed to the emails. So join the preferable chat. I'm dropping the link to the WhatsApp right now. Yes, thank you, Sonia. See, Sonia has dropped the link to the Telegram. Thank you so much. So this is the WhatsApp. So join either, so that we will now continue conversations on WhatsApp and Telegram and not emails, because emails are starting to get spams and whatnot. So yeah, but thank you so much for this tonight's session. So come prepared for tomorrow's session and Thursday sessions, where we'll now get hands-on. So for tonight, we will not have polls for tonight. We will, however, combine tonight's polls and next session's polls in one session for the Thursday session. So Thursday, come prepared so that you can participate actively. And yeah, so but we encourage you to keep coming through. Invite your friends. We want to ensure that our attendance rate does not drop below 50. So if you know you have any friends that would benefit from this session, please invite them. And we love to see you all participate and just come through for the session. So thank you so much. I don't know if anybody has any questions or any concern for our speakers that have just gone before us. Amazing. Awesome. So as always, you could just turn on your camera for 1 minute so that you could just take a group photo with everybody as we are preparing to call it a night. At least tonight you guys go to bed early, so it should be fun for you. So yeah. Yes, please turn on your camera so that you can take a group photo. Amazing. Awesome. All right, so I will take the first picture on account of 1, 2, 3. Smile. Awesome. I'll take another picture so that I can just capture everybody. For someone cannot see everybody, but Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much to everyone that has been consistent in joining the sessions. Please, 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 if you have any questions or any concern, don't forget to ask us in the chat. We are always active in the chat, ensuring that you answer all your questions and ensuring that you all get what you're looking for. So for tomorrow's sessions, don't forget it's at 4 p.m. We will drop the link in the chat in the groups shortly after the call, and it will be part of your takeaways from tonight's session. And then on Thursday, come early, come prepared, because we'll be getting hands-on for the sessions, and we encourage you to invite your friends, developers that are exploring the same, and invite them to just learn about Avalanche basically. Other than that, I appreciate you all. Thank you so much, and have yourselves a good night and goodbye, everybody.